Hey everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World. I trust your week has been a good week. Today we're going to look at the crypto market, where things have gone for the last 7 days. I've got a little story to talk about regarding Cardano. We also have a story to cover today regarding Polygon, for those that own Polygon. We're going to talk about the market sentiment as well, why I think the market has dipped quite dramatically. And we're going to have a look at South Park as well, and how they've absolutely just killed the cryptocurrency world right after this. Okay, so looking at the market as it is today on our heat map, we can clearly see that everything's pretty much in the red, as it has been for the last week or so. We'll go through our cycles in a moment to let you know where things are at, but there's not a lot to talk about when the market's down. It just is part of the cycle of investing in cryptocurrency. The same here if we have a look at the market caps. This is cryptocurrency by market capitalization. Obviously Bitcoin is number one, as you all know. Ethereum is number two, and off we go down the charts. There's not a lot at the moment that looks really healthy. Avalanche is one, up 7.68% for the month, but actually up 19% for the last 7 days. So if you're an Avalanche holder, that's really good news for you. While the market's down, you can see that Terra Luna is down by 7%. Still, overall for the entire month, it's up by 52%, so that's pretty good. Most of the stable coins are what they are, stable. There's not a lot happening there as well. Polygon Matic, down 2.73%, but still up 33% at the moment for the entire month. So that's where things are at the moment. So again, when the things are down, there's not a great deal to talk about. It is what it is, and you've just got to work out and, I guess, wait out that time that it takes for those for the coins to recover. Let's have a look at the total market cap at the moment. So this is the standard chart that we all use, and we have used for a number of times. I talk to you about every time about the 31-day cycle that's in place at the moment, and that's been fairly consistent for the last 2 years. I don't have any reason to doubt that that's going to change. And we often talk about the cycle being broken up into thirds, so 10 days followed by another 10 days, followed by another 10 days, which is good. Sorry, I'm just getting a message from my friends. And usually what we want to see in a bull market is that the first third of that cycle, the first 2/3 of that cycle is bullish, and the last third actually, so the last 10 days comes down. And what we've got here is the opposite. So we have the first 10 days bullish. And what I mean by bullish is that I mean that the high of the first 10 days is higher than the high of the first day of the cycle. So that, even though it's really gone sideways, it's still a bullish run because it's gone further higher. And then we've had a drop that's come down. Now this current cycle will end on December the 20th, so that's going to be this Monday for those that are living in Australia. And I would hope that by then we've had a we've had a higher low from the recent low. Let me just move that out of the way there. From our recent low, so it has come up a little bit, and I would hope that the new cycle will kick off and be a little bit more bullish than what we've seen for this cycle. Ultimately, though, what we want to see in the next probably 3 to 4 months, with December almost we're just past the halfway point. So really, in the next 3.5 to 4 months, we want to see this all-time high of 3 trillion broken, and for the market to be in free range to continue to go up, hopefully without too much resistance there. But we will wait and see what the market shows us. Again, prediction is fantastic, but the truth is we really need to take a good hard look at the reality of things. At the moment, while it's not looking too good, if you're an investor or a trader and you bought in at the top here, your portfolio is still going to be in negative territory. As everyone knows on this channel, I'm very much a long-term player. I'm really looking at anywhere from a 3 to 5 year time frame for most of my investments. That's not to say that I don't dip and change every now and then. Occasionally I do. if I feel that there are other or better avenues for my money to be invested in. I do still think that in 3 to 5 years things are going to be looking very, very rosy indeed. All right, let's have a look at some news that's happened this week in the marketplace. The first one is Cardano. So for those that are holding Cardano and that have been on this channel for a while, it's one of our investments, or one of the ones we recommend. Again, it's personal advice only. It's not financial advice at all. This is just simply what we do in our portfolio. So earlier this week, Cardano ADA hit a milestone of 20 million transactions. But what's interesting about that is it's done 20 million transactions without a single outage in its entire 4-year history. So again, I'll read the article out to you. I'll paraphrase part of it because I don't want to be here for hours reading it. But Cardano just hit a major milestone by processing its 20 millionth transaction. What's more impressive is that it was accomplished without a single outage in its 4-year history. So that's really good news for those who are using that as a payment mechanism. Now down here a little bit so the article really goes into why on earth, if it's done such amazing things, and I've spoken about this in other videos, has the sentiment or the price of Cardano continued to fall. And it's often the case where you'll have some fantastic news come out and the market will do the opposite of what you think it's going to do. Sometimes bad news comes out and you'll find that cryptos and or stocks will rise with that bad news. So it really just comes down to the psychology of the market. What else do we want to talk about here? So some have blamed the poor price action on a lack of dApps, so decentralized apps, particularly the difficulty of using the Haskell programming language. But is there any truth to this? And it just goes on to talk about what Hoskins is saying himself, and he actually responds down here about the criticisms of that. Last week, the Cardano founder, Charles Hoskins, gave an update on the dApp situation by saying the IOHK is currently deep in the process of ironing out kinks to do with the Plutus application backend, the PAB. As many of you know, the PAB is out on the testnet and people are using the PAB right now on the constructions of their apps or the dApps. And then he adds down the bottom here that there are many Cardano dApps under construction and he would not be surprised if they were released very soon. So that's a pretty positive news for holders of Cardano to see that. Obviously, even though the market has dropped and you've got the chart on the screen in front of you there, it's still positive news. So Cardano is still moving forward and doing quite well as far as their project is concerned. What the market sentiment reads about the project and what's really happening with the actual project itself can sometimes be two different things. So also in the news this week, we've seen that Polygon, for those who hold Polygon in their portfolios, Polygon acquires MIR in a $400 million deal to scale Ethereum and Web3. So that's really good news for Polygon holders that want to know what's going on there. Pretty much let's just have let's paraphrase some of this so we know we're not reading the entire article to you. Zero knowledge proofs are promising scaling solution because they allow many Ethereum transactions to be verified with single proof. Including in this acquisition, the platform has committed $1 billion of its treasury to support the ZK development. So that's really good news, actually. This acquisition was finalized in November, but was announced today, and this will enable the platform to access MIR's ZK scaling technology. And there'll be multiple versions of this launched. MIR will be integrated into the Polygon ecosystem under its new name, which will be Polygon Zero. And that'll go alongside all the other solution networks and apps that Polygon have actually launched and released over the last couple of months and years. Now, I've got a few comments privately regarding the recent downturn in the marketplace. Again, let's just have a look at that. So we've really gone from a $3 trillion cap all the way down to just above a $2 trillion cap. So to lose $1 trillion in a market that's not that big, you've lost the 30% of the market, is pretty scary for some people. For others, it's not. And I just wanted to bring this up to you to show you, this is an article that was on CNBC. CEOs and insiders sell a record 69 billion of their stock. Now, stock can mean also cryptocurrency. It's not related to the S&P 500 or the Australian Stock Exchange or whatever exchange you might be working with or investing in yourself. It also includes cryptocurrency, and the year isn't over there yet. So this is really important to understand about how the actual market works. So when CEOs and hedge funds and investment funds and investment firms and everyone like that have had a ripper year, which actually it has been. If you go back to having a look at where things are at, I mean, this was May 2021, so probably less than 6 months ago, really. That high that happened there, the downturn, and then the recent build up to that, there are going to be people in the market that are going to sell out because they've made a lot of money and they want to lock their profits in. And really what this article talks about is the fact that that's exactly what's happening in the marketplace. The big players, the holders that have got, you're talking about millions and possibly even billions of money tied up into certain projects, they're selling out. Now, it doesn't mean that they're selling out their entire stock or the entire holdings. It doesn't mean that the value of the company or the projects that they're undertaking are any less valued. They just want some cash. They want to go out and do other things. They want to go buy properties. They want to go planes. They want to buy whatever it is that they want to get. And to do that, they've got to liquidate their assets to enable that, to convert that into either fiat currency or into something else like Bitcoin or whatever else they might be using to do payments for the things that they want. So this is really interesting. Now, the other thing that's happened also, there's been a couple of tweets on the Twitterverse that talks about the big hedge funds and the big managed funds who have used cryptocurrency as part of their asset pool. And what's interesting about this is a lot of the larger hedge funds and managed funds out there are actually selling their cryptocurrency at the moment, not because it's a bad investment. What they want to do is they want to lock their profits in so that when reporting season comes in 2022 for the 2021 year, they can actually say, look, we made a 400% return for our investors. And the only way they can really do that is to actually liquidate the stock or the shares, lock those profits away, and then be able to report on that. So the reporting frequency and the reporting regularity that happens, I shouldn't say regularity, I really should say the compliance that happens with a managed fund is actually very intense. It's very well scrutinized in most parts of the world anyway. Certainly in Australia, it's incredibly intense, and you've got a lot of things to prove to ASIC and the Australian Stock Exchange and whoever else is looking about what your fund has done for the people who have invested into your fund and are paying you sometimes a very handsome fee for doing that. So when it comes to that, if a hedge fund or a managed fund can lock aside profits and then officially report next year what they did in 2021, it's going to make their hedge fund or their fund look incredibly good. And that's what a lot of big money and big institution money is doing, and the big, what they call whales in the cryptoverse have been doing over the last couple of weeks. So that's why the market also has dropped quite dramatically. It doesn't mean that it's any less easier to know that when you're holding throughout that period of time, but it does give you a sense that the market is far from crashing. There are legitimate reasons why it's moved downwards, and it's just that there's a lot of selling going on at the moment. I would predict that by March 2022, we will see all of that market return in positive territory for everyone who's still remaining and holding throughout this period of time, because at the end of the day, funds still have to make great returns for their money and for their clients. And the last thing they want to do is to go into 2022 with a less return than what they received the year before. So if somebody has received or returned a 400 or 500 or 600% return for their clients, do you think the clients are going to be happy with maybe a 30% return in 2022? That's not going to happen. So the market will really boom next year, I fully believe, because the large whales and the large institutions will want to do better than what they did in 2022. So just a bit of information for you to consider when you're maybe a bit worried about the cryptoverse. Now, the last thing I wanted to end on was a funny take from one of my favorite cartoons, which is South Park. And they've really killed the cryptoverse and NFT market in this amazing clip. It's going all over Twitter at the moment, so I thought I'd share it with you today. So that's it for today's video. I hope you got something valuable out of it. For those that haven't yet subscribed, please, if you're not going to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's fine. But if you can give it a thumbs up, it really helps Google and the YouTube algorithm understand that this content is meaningful to you, and that will help other people find this when they go to search for cryptocurrencies. Until next week or until the next video, take care and take care of each other. We'll see you soon. Cheers.